Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm also good. Outdoors today.
Uh, yes, actually, now my son Hamza he had his soccer class today,
Uh-huh.
so I'm here.
Nice,
So,
mashallah.
yeah, enjoying the weather. You
Yeah,
you don't get much summer over here, so whatever you get, you should enjoy outdoors. That's what it is.
true. So yeah, mashallah.
Yeah, so I think we were planning about the airlines discussion today.
Yeah, we discussed domestic. I think we can discuss international, like our travels to the Middle East and other
Right.
places.
Okay, so I think as we both may agree that we stayed in the Middle East, so we have utilized mostly the Middle Eastern airlines. So
True.
I'll go one by one what I felt about them. I have tried almost all of them and a couple of Asian airlines as well.
Mhm.
Uh, so because my dad he always loved to explore new places. So he wanted to travel through new airlines so that earlier back in the day, they used to give stopovers and the airline used to provide hotels and
Right.
stays with them because they wanted to, promote tourism in their own countries. And that helped both ways. Like it helped us go around and help them, with their tourism as well.
Right.
So I went through, I traveled through Sri Lankan, uh, Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, and Emirates, obviously. And
Right.
then Etihad is there. But I wouldn't say much about Emirates because Emirates is the top, so everybody knows about it.
True.
And, I haven't had any negative experience with them, so that's pretty good. So let's give the positives one out of the way, and Oman as well. It's pretty good for local. I mean, in the sense, local in the sense, in the Middle East or towards Asia, like towards India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. I think they travel to that, but they don't come towards North America. So I think that's
Mhm.
just one drawback that I feel that they don't come towards North America. Hopefully, in the future, they can do that, and I look forward to uh, traveling through them. But
Right.
I feel I really look forward to. I have been to Oman for the stopover, and I love the place, and I always I hope I'll be visiting it in the future as well because as I mentioned offline that they are one of the I think the only Middle Eastern country who are keeping themselves deeply rooted to the traditions, right? Like
Right.
specifically in relation to the architecture, because I don't think they have any skyscrapers like UAE or Saudi or anything. They just
True.
want to maintain what they have, those old palaces or those old heritage places,
Right.
which they're keeping it that way.
Right.
So I think that is yes, and that's one of the bucket list places I would say. I think
Right.
even Saudi is always there because we have spent our childhood there. But after Saudi, I would say Oman is some place that I would like to visit or stay for a while.
Right.
Moving on, Kuwait was also a good airline. When we were young, when we were
Mhm.
kids uh, because it was, I'm not sure why, but it faded away. It hasn't grown with the trend of Middle Eastern airlines like Emirates, Etihad, Qatar.
True.
It hasn't come up like that. It just faded away, and you don't see much of Kuwait Airlines anywhere, not even in commercial spaces, ads or anything like that. I'm not sure why. It was a really good airline. I see it's still operational, but I'm not sure what's going on with them. But they're not promoting as they used to in the 2000s, early 2000s and
Mhm.
90s.
Mhm.
So, but my experience with them was really good. We stopped over in Kuwait as well, and so it was a I don't remember much because I was very young, but I remember that we traveled through Kuwait and we traveled through business class once.
Mm-hmm.
It was in an emergency situation, like my
Okay.
grandparents or someone was ill, so
Okay.
my mom had to go immediately. So obviously, immediate you get very less, options. So that
Yes.
was the only option available, I guess. So I got the opportunity to travel at that negative time, but uh, because when you're kids, you don't realize the importance of these things. So
Yes. True.
you
True.
were just looking forward to enjoying what you are getting. So that's what happened. And then, Qatar, I feel Qatar is really good. I travel when I went for masters, I traveled to Qatar, to Chicago. So it's a really good airline, and their airport is pretty good as well. Um, and I have one memory of Qatar Airways, like I think it was 2008 or 2009, when I was in 10th grade. So
Uh-huh.
10th is in a CBSE. It is, as you know, it is a board exam and all that. You
Yes.
have to
Yes.
attend all classes and something. मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस दिए हुए रहते हैं अपन या अपने पेरेंट्स पहले इस ज़माने में 2000s अर्ली में it was really important. अब nowadays तो it's more about your skill rather than your studies. Obviously you need to get some good grades, but it's not like if you get 90%, 95% you are जिंदगी पार हो गई भाई इनकी बोल के वैसा तो नहीं है आजकल जैसा पहले रहता था
बिल्कुल.
तो पहले वैसा था. So, like summer vacation was ending, and my mom wanted to stay back in Hyderabad for a bit. So, me and my dad, we had to, my dad wanted me to be there because board exams kara tha, he didn't want to miss school.
Right.
So, we had to change flights, and the only available flight was Qatar with
Uh-huh.
business. So, me and dad, obviously, when you spend alone time with dad, or alone time with any individual alone time with their own father, it's a
Right.
special time. You get to do a lot of things which you cannot with the entire family. So it was a really fun time, and obviously with in business class means you're pampered really well, right? So I had that experience. We were in Qatar and we had a layover in Qatar as well. They
Mm.
have a hotel inside the terminal. This is, I think, as I said, it's almost 18 years ago. I'm not sure how the airport is now,
Right. Right.
but that was really memorable, and I loved their lounges and their hotel in the terminal itself.
Mm-hmm.
But as I mentioned, I traveled through them in economy in 2014 again when I was going for masters.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, the service was pretty good, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, Hamad International Airport, it is known for that huge teddy bear. I guess you might
Yes.
have seen it.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, pretty good. Uh, Coming to as I Emirates, तो मैं बोल दिया, it's pretty good. No need for any comments. The
Right.
other two airlines, I guess, remaining are Etihad and Saudia. These are ones which I have had a negative experiences with. Saudia, I'm not sure why, but they think themselves as a premium airline, which they are not.
Yes.
They charge premium prices as well, but they're not a premium airline. They don't have that kind of facilities as well as that kind of customer service. It's terrible, absolutely. They need to work on the country is moving forward really well, but the airlines is left behind, uh, far away. And obviously, we have stayed there. We love to travel to Saudi, but the now after so many years after coming back, the main attraction of visiting Saudi is for Umrah or Hajj, and secondary is if you have any people there to, like, close ones like siblings or anyone, to meet them, or the last one is obviously the food.
Yes.
So these
Right.
are the main three things that attract you to Saudi. Other than that, it's just another Middle Eastern country. It's nothing
Right.
special. So, but for them to, and traveling through Saudi Airlines, it gives you this opportunity that you can do Umrah, but they need to, they need to improve their airlines because recently I had experience with my parents visiting Saudi, and they travel through business because they're in economy and business class is not much of a difference when you're traveling from Hyderabad to
Mm-hmm.
Jeddah. I think it's about 15 to 20K difference. So I was like, why not pay it? And in this age,
Right, right.
it is, well, you'll get a lot of leg room and a bit more comfort. But
Yes.
in comparison to Emirates or Etihad, their business class is pretty okay, and the
Okay.
services, when what you expect for business class passengers, are not there. Like for example, the wheelchair services which I had requested, they were there. The guys came over, they dropped my parents to the lounge, and before the boarding time, they needed to be there to pick them up, but they were nowhere to pick them up before boarding time. And once they came late, they took them to the gate, the practically running way. And when they reached the gate was already closed.
Oh.
And the flight left. And, when my parents, they reached out to the manager and stuff, my dad, how it is in such situations, I think it's the background, what helps,
Yes,
where you
yes.
work and all that, how you have taken stuff like this. So
Right.
he just reached out to the manager and stuff. But initially, what they did was just kept denying instead of understanding the customer situation and what the issue is. They just
Mm-hmm.
kept denying. It is your problem. You should have come on time to the gate, rather than seeing that they are on wheelchairs and understanding what would have went wrong.
Yes,
That
yes.
was their reaction. But after a lot of backlash and a lot of back and forth with the superiors, my father was able to get another flight. And
Okay.
they were obviously they had to give a hotel for the night.
Right.
So, but they were delayed for 1 day. So these things which are offered like a hotel or anything like that, if you have nothing, you don't have any time-based thing in your destination, then it feels good. Okay, chalo bhai mil gaya. We can
Sure.
enjoy a bit more. But if you have anything important at the destination, then it's very critical, right? Even if they give you compensation or anything, it
Yeah.
just doesn't suit you. So yeah, but at that time, they were going to attend a wedding back in Hyderabad, but
Mm.
they had to miss the nikah, but they were able to attend the reception due. So, anyways, Saudi Airlines is something they need to work on. You know, they need to
Yes.
work and to better their customer service and the
Right.
level of uh, premium service they have for the prices they're charging.
Okay.
Lastly, I would say Etihad. It is a good airline. Everything is good, but the only thing is, I recently traveled to Hyderabad from Toronto, and they have this stopover option. I think you may know about it.
Yes, yes.
So this stopover option, it is when I booked the flight, it was mentioned as included, but suddenly when I just wanted to confirm before flying, I which hotel which will I be getting and all that, and the customer care on the call guy said that your hotel is not confirmed. I said I paid a premium price because
Hmm.
it said hotel included.
Right.
uh, then I thought, anyway, we are traveling tomorrow, so Toronto to Abu Dhabi. Once you reach their hub, Abu Dhabi is their hub, obviously. So I
Yes.
I'll be able to get in touch with any manager or any associate people who are associated with Etihad, and they'll be able to resolve it. But when we land, first of all, it's such a huge airport. There's no one to be, no Etihad personnel in the area. There are a few, obviously, and none of them can help. The
Yes.
managers or even the supervisor, they're just like, we won't be able to help. You just need to call customer care. I was like, okay. I called up once, and they're like, somebody will get in touch with you. It's lame answers. It's
Yes,
just
yes.
lame excuses. I waited for a couple of hours, and then I was like, I was with family, so it was something I couldn't take it much longer. I was there about 4 to 5 hours, and then I booked my own hotel and I went because I didn't want to waste more time. And obviously, the kids get irritated, right? So
Yes,
I
yes.
was like, I'll follow it up later. And that thing is still being going on with Etihad. And hopefully they resolve it. Let's see what happens.
Yes.
So these are my experiences. I think we will start with your experiences now. I think we can do it in the next video. What do you think? You can
Yes,
give it
we'll
a deep, in depth, rather than this because it's getting longer.
absolutely. We'll continue tomorrow with my experience of airlines, international airlines.
Perfect. Okay.
All right.
Take care. Love this. If you enjoyed this, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram as well. Drop a comment with the topics you'd like us to discuss in the future, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.